So wait, so you would go into their drawers and steal snacks during your
BBC
shift?
has cameras.
You
Linda.
worked there for a decade. Have you ever admitted this?
I've never admitted this. I've actually never admitted this. Sorry, I just tried to ring your bell.
Hey, it doesn't work.
Oh, hi.
How you
Hello.
doing?
How's it doing? Welcome.
How are you? Welcome.
I'm good. I'm very good. Thank you for being so welcoming. Oh my God, I brought you a little gift.
Oh,
what?
Because it's rude to turn up to someone's house without a gift. It's a
She's
huge
right.
plant. No, it's not. I was thinking of like a few different things.
Okay.
So I was like, oh my God, maybe I'll bring you something from your motherland in terms of cuisine. Maybe I'll bring you some baba ganoush.
Oh, that would have been lovely, yeah.
Maybe I'll bring you some like post-it notes so you can leave passive-aggressive,
Okay. Okay.
notes around the house. That's what my family always did.
Yep, yep.
But then I walked past a community like book shelf thing.
Okay.
So I brought you a book because I just thought coffee table books never go astray. When you're on the toilet, you can flick through the giant book of love and romance. It has classic love, romance, saucy stories.
Wow.
From decade. Like you could flip this open and
That's so
you'd
cool.
be seduced. You'd
Plus,
be seduced.
it makes us look like crooners. Like, you know, this is
Yeah,
what we're
that's
about.
right,
Love
yeah.
and romance.
Yeah, love and bromance.
We're not reading the game.
No, we don't read the game.
No, you don't want that.
We
you want
read the
love
giant book.
and romance. Not just one. Both.
Linda, welcome to our house.
Thank you. This is Marty. This is your room that we're
Yes,
sitting in.
This is my
Yes.
bedroom, yes.
where I'm sinking into this armchair, and as I said, gonna be farting at some point. I've had a lot of fibre, have a lot of fruit.
Live your truth.
Live my truth.
Not to
That's
start
right.
the podcast with farts, but I do fart a lot. So this room is, it's not a foreign thing to this room.
I can say that he does. I have...
Is it just confined to your room?
No, it's
No.
not.
I eat a lot of
Anywhere,
chickpeas.
anytime.
Chickpeas will do it.
They
Well, you're
really do.
Lebanese. Chickpeas are a staple.
It's part of the culture, not the farting though.
It is. Chickpeas and garlic farts is how you're going to bookend all of your stays anywhere.
God, this should be fun.
So, Linda, from my understanding, you've lived in a few share houses.
Yeah.
What was your first share house experience like?
Good place to start.
Good place to start. I think I wouldn't totally call it my share house experience in that I wasn't living there full time, but my first experience of being in a share house was doing the thing where you get a serious boyfriend or a serious girlfriend or a serious they friend, and you decide to spend like half the week at their place. So I would go and spend half the week at my boyfriend's place, and he was living with like one other couple, and you know they were breaking up, and it was really sad.
wow.
And well, not sad. It was actually quite funny for us, but
You're the other half then, in the like you're the person that comes over and doesn't pay
I'm
for
the-
electricity. and
yes, I'm that
Were you
annoying
there a lot?
person. Yeah, I'm there a lot, and I probably contributed to the downfall of their relationship by sitting there watching them fight, eating an entire tub of connoisseur ice cream, which is what I really used to like to do a lot back then, which was I think like 2008.
And that was the relationship you saw modelled.
Yeah,
To
that,
you.
that was it. That was it. So that was the kind of, I think, the first time I saw what it was like living with other people that were not your family. And then the first time that I moved out properly and lived in a house with other people was when I moved to London when I was in my mid-20s. So I moved into a house with 4 other people because the 5 of us were in a band together. So
Oh,
we got
wow.
like plucked out of Sydney and then thrown into this whirlwind journey of you're signed and you've got this record label that are going to fund you to live in London. So they're going to find you this 5-bedroom massive house in absolute whoop whoop in London. So we had this kind of
Wow.
London
Not like
stars
in
in our
the-
eyes
right.
vibe, but
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like out in the sticks, you
Yeah.
know?
Okay. So you're not in an inner city suburb of London, like a cool
No,
place.
you're not in Old Street or Shoreditch. You're in a suburb called Hendon, where the most exciting thing I think was that there was a grocery store that was open 24 hours a day called, I think, Best Market or something. We could go. You know those ones where you can get like 10 kilos of hummus for £1.
Sounds
It's
like my
one-
kind of supermarket.
I know, it was actually really good.
What was this band?
Oh, it was a band called Teenagers in Tokyo that we had started at this time where,
name.
yeah, it was.
What's the genre we're talking
The
here?
genre was we took the name, as all good band names are, as a joke from like a Vice magazine cover where they did
Nice.
a whole like fashion story on teenagers in Tokyo. But the genre of it was that it was at the time where all of those big kind of new rave bands that had guitars and synths were coming out. So it was like there was like the Klaxons and Block Party and LCD Sound System, and in Sydney there was
Nice
like
comparisons you're making here. To
yeah, just like iconic, really
We were
successful
basically
bands.
like
We were
them.
basically then. The record label that signed us had signed like Chromeo and The Gossip and made a bunch of money through
Right.
them, and basically saw like 4 girls and one guy who was the drummer and went, come over here, you're going to be our next kind of cash cow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we
I mean,
moved
back
over there.
I don't know if that happens now, right? Australian like bands don't get signed to to fly to London and
I mean, it's not like we got this huge amount of money, but the fact that we were able to go there, have an advance where the 5 of us were given money to pay all of our rent, we're given a wage, we're given money not only to live but to make a record, pay for a record, like for a record producer, do all of
Wow.
those things. And we were there for a couple of years, and tour it through Europe and the UK feels like a total dream. And then in terms of the dynamic with us moving in, it was going from seeing each other a few times a week, jamming in
Yeah.
a studio that we, hired, to living in each other's pockets and having no one else to turn to except each
Yeah.
other
No
in like
friends.
the hardest city to live in if you are poor, with like no friends. Like, we weren't in the scene. Like
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
like we moved into cool East London where all of a sudden we were rubbing shoulders with cool people. We were
Yeah,
losers.
you're on your own,
Yeah. Yeah.
How'd you like go about dividing up the rooms?
You have to be like diplomatic about it. In our band, we were all trying to be really sensible and really kind of highbrow.
that seems
So-
like a no-brainer to me. Like obviously the lead singer gets the best room.
No, Marty.
What?
No.
It's,
'Cause
it's
to be
London.
fair-
You're in a band. Like you just got flown over there. Sure.
Well, we ended up drawing names out of a hat because there was 5 bedrooms,
Okay.
and they all have pluses and minuses. And then there was the absolute shit of a bedroom that was like tucked in this corner. I think there was
The
mold.
bassist
it was
obviously was
Dude,
assigned.
I was the bassist. guess what room this bitch got from drawing names out of a hat?
Where'd you
Ensuite.
get?
I got the best room with
You
the
got
ensuite.
the bassist got
I
the best room.
best room with the ensuite. And our lead singer got the shit room.
Oh.
And I remember when we pulled them out of a hat, she burst into tears. Burst into tears. And we even did this thing where we tiered the wages. So we were like, okay, whoever gets the best room, you're going to get the least wage. It's just because we just were trying to be
Yeah.
so fair and like
Yeah.
stupidly
This is not
diplomatic.
fair.
I know. So then,
Wait, was it your idea?
it was a collective.
Oh,
it was
a
a collective
collective.
idea.
Who
The
suggested
bassist
Yes.
suggested it from the least point of power.
It was a collective. I took like £20 less wage. I got the best room.
Yeah.
I had enough room to do yoga. I had the best aspect looking out of the windows. I had my own ensuite. I had my own bath. I would bring my own kettle upstairs, so
What a
I wouldn't even
dream.
have to see anyone on days off. I would just stay in my room watching Entourage and eating crackers. And meanwhile, our lead singer is like trying to do her makeup amongst mold in her bedroom. Like,
Could this be a
hated
reason
it.
why
Full-
you
full
say
grudge.
the Klaxons and name these other bands as massive bands that went on to do great for things and yours fell apart?
It didn't fall apart. Look, there were some very hairy times. There were some real moments in tour events, and there were some real like harsh times that happened in cold London and Europe. But we're amicable. In fact, I had a Zoom with that very lady last night
Oh, there you go.
who's still in London.
She's still in that room.
She's
she hasn't been able to leave.
she can't leave.
How did you navigate all living together while, I mean, you would have been also touring. How did you go in your
yeah.
first experience in the
It
band?
was all of a sudden moving out of home and having to like learn who cleans the toilet, who's
Yeah.
gonna scrub the shower, all of this stuff. I'd grown up in a really disciplined, strict, clean household where mum was like, you clean as you go, you clean every day, you clean up after yourself. So my shit was spotless. And I remember one time, for some reason, I was closer to the other side of the house when I wanted to like do a wee or something. And I went into one of the other bathrooms and I saw the amount of soap scum on the bath. And I was like, fuck no, thank God this is not my bathroom. So I was like a bit of a bitch with that because everybody would clean up / not clean up, you know, use a pot and then leave it on the stove.
My thing is just always like leave just enough for one person in a pot and just offer it to another person. So then they finish off the pot and then they have to clean it.
That's so manipulative. That is so, and I say that from a point of grace and fondness. Like that's something that I feel like I would do. Also, do you think that it's rude to not eat the same meal as the person or the people that are living in your house? Because I think that I would always want to eat my own separate meal.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't believe in the pooling of
I don't know.
skills
I
at
think
that
I
one
don't
point
like,
in time.
I don't like group activities. I think that all of a sudden I have to factor in like this fuckwit only likes this. This person doesn't like chicken. This one feels like pasta. I don't feel like pasta. I had it for lunch. Like factoring the, like I'm inconsiderate is what I'm saying.
No, I think it's like your...
I just want
We're
to
picking
eat
that
my
up.
stuff.
You
I just
don't
want to eat my own
Yeah.
food.
Fuck these
Hence
people
the
with their soap
crackers in my
scum.
bedroom and my own
You know what I
noodle.
hate? Generous people. People who offer me meals, dinner. Okay, so you started to kind of notice your limits when you're in that first place.
Yeah, I think it was still really fun, but it's, you know, the beauty of getting older is that I think you realize what you like and what you don't like and how you would ideally want to live.
I mean, I'm
What's-
sure like living in a band with also the people that you know,
Yeah.
they'd be the ones who'd really test those limits.
Linda's Limits
You know-
would have been actually a better title for your band.
Linda's Limits.
Yeah.
Have
Luck of
this-
the draw.
Luck
Linda's
of the
suggestion.
draw. My suggestion. It's fair, guys, as long as I win. And there was this moment
You
where
did
I
that
was
thing where-
holding
yeah, go on.
like both of the names out of the hats and it said Linda and then it said Samantha. And I remember thinking like, Linda, just swap with her. She's so upset.
And you didn't.
And I just didn't. I was like, I've known this person since I'm 12 and I don't fucking care. I want
You're the
room.
one who drew it out.
Yeah, I drew it out.
Everyone's
Oh my
names.
God.
Yeah.
See, I'm just
Wow.
like, if I was on that, I would have done the peak.
What you do
Nah,
is...
you couldn't because everyone was around.
everyone was looking,
crowding
the
around.
gaze was on you.
Yeah.
If you want to cheat that system, what you do is you pre-write the names beforehand and you put yours in the fridge so it's colder. So then when you dip your hands in, you just pick out the cold one.
You are
He's
so manipulative.
he's got
This
a
is so like. How do you have so many tips? When was the last time you did that? Honestly,
I mean, I've never encountered that situation
How do you
before.
know
And if I
that
do,
then?
I'm ready. I have a small penguin book that says how to use your enemies. It's a penguin classic.
it's a classic. It's a
This
classic.
is you've brought this out in here. I'm glad you're calling it out because I've never heard of this.
I don't think she's calling
book,
it out. She
but
says it's coming from a term of
It's quite-
endearment.
It
Now-
is. It's like quite intriguing. Oh, okay. Let's go deep. Let's get
Okay,
let's
yeah,
get
let's do
innocuous.
that.
That's one thing
Yeah.
that they say about our show.
Yeah, let's go deep. Let's talk
They
about
always go deep, those boys.
etiquette things. I have a distinct memory of being in that house in, you know, the suburbs of London, and one person in the band made a sandwich, went and ate it, and then left the house for the day, and they were just all strewn
Just
across
out.
the kitchen bench. And so
good.
I got home hours later. The back door was fucking open and there was just flies all over it. It was stuff like that you would see every week and you just
Yeah.
like, grow up.
Yeah.
Like, I remember even just seeing the orange juice in the carton with the lid off. I was like, put the fucking lid on. Can I say fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, put the fucking lid on. And are you 9? And this person if she listens to this, I'm so sorry.
So cleanliness.
Okay.
Cleanliness is massive.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, cleaning up your stuff as you go in the kitchen.
Are you
Don't
clean
leave your
up as
stuff
you go
around.
when you
Yeah,
cook?
I'm a clean as you go. Clean as you go. Like,
what's
you
up.
barely finished the meal and you're cleaning up. Get it done.
Oh, yeah, I'm cleaning everything I've used to cook before I eat.
I do that too.
Yeah.
We are such kindred spirits. Sorry, Marty. You might have to leave the room. Yes, clean as you go. You have to get it done. You certainly don't leave it after you've eaten to like watch a movie or if the next day. Horrible. Get out. Get in the bin.
Yeah, Nat had
what
to
else?
introduce that rule to our house because
What, to not leave it for the
Like,
next day?
his main thing is like, okay, we do the dishes, we're not slobs, but then like they would stay in the dish rack, and then maybe they'd overlap, and there would be a bit of stacking going on. You know, there'd be there'd be
that's
a tower
illogical
of
to
Pisa
me.
of
Thank
dishes.
you.
That's so illogical. Like,
And
they've
I would
already
like
Thank you, they've
balance,
already tried.
I'll balance
Marty's
the pot
broken-
lid, you know, and I'm like, oh, perfect.
Marty's broken
that, like,
2 bowls.
the amount of effort that Jenga takes when you could just move a thing to the side.
It's also just like the peace of mind of when you go in to cook and then you go to wash your things. There's an empty rack to put your stuff in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sounds good, but a lot of effort.
Well, yeah, cleanliness is definite limit for me, I think.
Yeah.
I remember moving into that share house and not realizing, I think maybe how quiet or potentially considerate I am as a person, that if I'm getting up in the morning and I need to leave, you know, at 8 a.m. and there's other people's rooms that are around, I'm not like banging cupboards and banging doors and like throwing cutlery in the sink when I use it.
We used to have an old housemate who used to just run down the stairs in the morning. Or
Every
anytime,
time.
really. Just
Yeah.
do.
Why?
I know.
Why
It sounded like
do
the ending of EastEnders.
Because
Yeah.
he hates wasting time and he sees walking downstairs as a time waster. So he would run upstairs and that would be his exercise too. He's always maximising where he can fit in exercise
Psychotic.
to his day. But he was also very forgetful. Terrible match up, those two things.
Because if he was just more efficient with his brain, he wouldn't be wasting the time of forgetting things and he wouldn't have to run up and down and do the marathon.
Yes, you've pointed out a good point there.
That's well, I agree. My bedroom in the last house that I was in was close, like shared the wall with the living room. And I'm definitely the one that, you know, doesn't invite people over to the house as often as my housemate would do, because she's just the most generous person. She's the one that would be, you know, cooking the curries and giving them to me, and then obviously wanting some of that slot for lunch the next day, but making
finishing
enough,
it.
me finishing it, you know, me waiting for it to be in the fridge, unbuckling a little bit of the Tupperware container, taking a spoon, pulling it out,
Evening it out so it doesn't look like that.
Oh my God, I've evened out so much stuff. I've evened out bolognese. I've evened out someone's Greek yogurt. I've evened out ice cream. I've evened it all out.
Have you ever watered down milk to make sure the levels stay?
No, I've never watered.
Yeah, we're not on the same level then, are we?
You've done that.
I've
You've
never done
evened
that.
out milk. That
I've
ruins it
never
for
done that.
everyone.
Oh my God. You know what? At the same time, while I'm outing people, my definite bad habit is that I steal.
You're a food stealer. You're an ever-outerer.
I am. I've evened out peanut butter, your fancy spreads, your coconut oil.
There's definitely a time that I have evened things out. All right? I don't approve this kind of behaviour, but there has, you could catch me do that at some stage.
Exactly.
But it's a downward spiral. You know, it starts with a bit of evening out. The next day, you realise you haven't been caught. You're doing it again. You're dipping back in. Well, what if they just didn't look in those 2 days? By the third day, there's a big chunk. You've spent a lot of time evening out for them to not notice. Okay?
Marty, you're not going back to the same bank after you rob it. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Oh, they do say criminals are always return to the scene. It's risky business.
Do you know when I used to work at Triple J and I used to do the evenings shift? And I'd be like, okay, be a good girl, Linda. Don't eat all the snacks in your desk drawer.
That you've
And then
hoarded.
that I've hoarded. So I
Yeah.
eat all the snacks in my drawer. And then I'm like, hold on a second. No one else is here. I've got the night shift. I'm not finishing work till 10 o'clock. Everyone's having a great time. I know that the breakfast crew has cereal. I know that in the fridge there's...
She's done an inventory somehow of all their drawers.
Yeah.
I know what's in their drawers.
Okay.
I know who has the Vitaweeks, the drive producer. For some reason, the person that always produces the afternoon shift always wants Vitaweeks. So I'm going to take
Lewis
those
Hobart,
Vitaweeks.
he's got the Cruskets.
Yeah, he got Cruskets. The evening out, it doesn't just happen in share house. It happens
so
in
you would
share
go into their
works.
drawers and steal snacks during
The
your
ABC
shift?
has cameras.
You
Linda.
worked there for a decade. Have you ever
Only-
admitted this?
I've never admitted this. I've actually never admitted this.
It's going to explain like a whole
out.
decade
Cut
of
this out.
thievery.
Radio, the craft of audio takes a lot of energy. And you need fuel in the belly.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not enough just to rely on the music.
Fair.
Yeah, when you're talking into a mic for hours on end and you're a little bit parched, you know what helps? A Crusket.
That would have been so good if there was an office-wide email where they'd taken an aerial photograph, but they couldn't tell who it was, and it was just you in a hoodie. It's like, but they tried to act like we don't want to accuse anyone, but we have an image of a Crusket thief, and we need to get to the bottom of this.
That would be me.
Okay, so you're a thief.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've been in your fair share of share houses. You had that first experience in London.
Yeah.
You had a few kind of relationship share houses with,
Yeah.
with your boyfriend. Where are you at now?
I am moving it out at the end of this week, but for the last year, I moved back in with my dad. I moved back into the family
Back
home.
home.
Back home. So
Back in with the rents.
back home with the parents.
Wow.
Well, mum and dad are divorced, but my parents have a bizarre kind of divorcee relationship where they're
Late-term
still
friendship.
friends. Yeah,
Nice.
late-term friendship. So mum not only has a friendship, but she has a key to the house.
Oh,
She
great.
likes to visit every week. Well, it's not great, but
It's almost
I mean, you can say
somewhat ideal.
yeah,
You don't have to see them all the time.
Yeah.
it hasn't been ideal. Okay, but
You're not meant to be there.
I'm not meant to be there. So I was meant to
Yeah.
move overseas at the start of
Yeah.
Yeah,
2020.
you were going to go to LA.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
had a lot of plans.
A lot of plans. So at the end of 2019, I packed up my house that I was living with the beautiful housemate girl, moved to LA, which is where my partner is, and then came back a few months later to change my visa over. And that was in the height of when COVID spiked in March 2020. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm going to be here for a few weeks longer than I thought. I'm just going to stay with dad.
This corona thing will
See
be
my
over
night-
soon.
It'll be over soon. It's fine. And, lo and behold, a year later, still there.
You found yourself in your
I did,
in
yeah.
your childhood bedroom.
Were you?
COVID.
Well, I grew up in a tiny shoebox bedroom, like a kind of Harry Potter under the staircase vibe. It was a bunk bed, but the bottom was a desk.
Oh, they're cool.
Yeah, are they? You could put your knees up, but that was it. That's the extremities of while you're lying down.
Oh, that's scary.
It was
your face is
coffin-like,
too.
you
Your
could
face
say.
is too close to the ceiling.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't have a nightmare.
What about when? What about when you got up? Had you trained yourself to cocoon to get
well,
out of the bed?
You just climb down the sprawl
slide.
down the ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah. You grew up in Brighton, Les Sands.
Yeah.
I was in the outer suburbs of Melbourne, and I couldn't wait to leave. Well,
Yeah.
by the time I was 21, I was like, I got this job, and I was like, yes. And I made a big stink. I was like, Mum and Dad, I will never be back here. See this face? Take it in, because I'm out of here. And then 3 years later,
I know.
I came knocking.
Well, I did that, but 3 months later. I was like, it's my last show on Triple J, everybody. Farewell to this booty. You're not going to see it again. She's going to the big time, everybody. Hollywood. Hey, here I am, Los Angeles. I'm living it up in the California sunshine. Phantom Planet, here we come. And then fucking 3 months later, Mum's vacuuming my bedroom on a Friday night, and I'm cursing the world.
How did your pride go? with the move down, the regression?
It is a regression. It's such a regression. You know what it is? Here's a rap that I've just come up with. It's a regression. You try to curb your aggression. You become your parents' obsession. Yeah. It's fucked.
No one can deny that those things rhymed.
They all rhymed. But it was that time of the year where everybody was so scared about COVID.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You were grateful to just be alive, be healthy.
Roof on the head.
Roof on the head. Everyone be, that
As
you
they
know
say.
and love. Roof on the head. Your ceiling on your bunk bed head.
We've talked about this. You're not allowed to have sayings.
He's
Marty
allowed.
butchers every saying. He just combines multiple sayings into one.
Roof on the head. Let him have it.
I think that's what they say.
Roof on the head. So it would be my dad, trying to offer me every food under the sun because it was like I just couldn't fend for myself. And while that was beautiful, it makes you act like a spoilt teenager because you're like, just leave me alone.
Which is very, you just don't feel like an adult because they're caring for you so much. My mum would always make a statement of cleaning my room on a Saturday morning. I might be out on a Friday, I come home, she's in there at 8 a.m, she's vacuuming.
And she was doing this when you moved back.
Yeah. She would find things under my bed and they would just disappear. The weed stash.
Yeah. My mum once found a bong that
So
I
did
had under my
mine.
bed. And I just told her it was an incense burner and I stuck an incense into the cone piece.
Oh my God. My mum found a Yoda bong in my backpack and she was like, what? Who gave you this ugly vase for your 18th birthday? And I was like, I don't know. Sophie did.
Have you had any confiscations?
Oh my
or-
God, so much. So much. That is my mum. She's so wonderful, but so invasive. She's just going through things. Oh, you don't know. You might have left a sandwich down the bottom of this bag from one time I did that when I was in year
You
one.
won't be eating this.
Yeah, now she was like, there was one point this year where she went through my underwear drawer for some weird reason. I was like, what are you doing? Get out of there.
Maybe she ran out of clean pairs.
Maybe she ran out. Oh my God. One time, this did not happen in the last year, but is an example of how much she just goes in and owns the place. She took my passport and I ended up missing a flight to New York because of it. It was a fucking nightmare. I packed my bag. It was there. You keep your passport in a safe place. I keep it in my underwear drawer. It's sitting in there every time. I go to get my passport so my boyfriend and I can go to the airport, order a cab, can't fucking find my passport. As you can imagine, the absolute horror, stress, went through the whole house, turned upside down, called my mum in tears. Have you seen my passport? Have you seen my passport? No, Linda, I haven't seen it. Why would I ever touch your passport? Hang up the phone. Meanwhile, it's you're such a big prawn head. That's my nickname, by the way. You're such a big prawn head. You always forget things. You should have known. You should have known where it was. You should have had safekeeping for this. I hang up feeling even worse about myself. Call my brother, call my dad. No one knows where the passport is. We missed the flight. The next day, my brother texts me a photo of my passport in between the towels of his linen closet.
Ooh.
I think what had happened was that my mum took it out of my underwear drawer for safekeeping, somehow then went to my brother's house, did the same thing at his place, which is that she nosies around and does a load of washing, obviously folded the linen at some stage,
wow.
shoved my passport in between and put it away into his linen closet.
Wow.
It was
So much to answer for your mum.
so much. So much.
Explain that, mum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the sort of relationship that I generally have had with my parents growing up.
When was the first time it sunk in that, I'm really back at my parents'?
I think my mum comes over every Friday night. So my dad's a hairdresser, and part of their friendship exchange is that she goes to his salon on a Friday, he does her hair, and she comes over to the house and does a detailed clean because no one knows how to do the details like her. You don't know how to do the details. So she does every Friday. She's like, the PowerPoints, the oven, the bathroom, the showers, everything. The moment that it really sunk in for me that I was back at my, in my parents' presence for way more than you should as an adult was everybody's popping off on a Friday
Yeah.
and I'm afraid to walk in the door because I can see mum's red Mazda parked out in the driveway and it fucking means that she's here and she's here to stay.
And she's doing the PowerPoints.
And she's doing the fucking PowerPoint.
Do you have to like help with the cleaning? Does she expect you to?
Yeah,
help with
that's the other
cleaning?
thing.
Yeah.
I could have been I could be working all day. Could be, you know, filming a TV show, doing a podcast, and she's like,
Come clean.
"Why haven't you mopped?"
Yeah.
My room when I went back had already been converted into an office, so I had to convert it back.
They made the office around the bunk.
Well, Mum moved all her things in to make it her office,
Oh,
and so now I'm like climbing up. It's not even my space anymore.
nah,
You know?
it's not yours. Well, my one was kind of the same.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much childhood stuff that's there. But it's not so much childhood, it's more what it was like when I left, which is kind of 19, 20, 21-year-old
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
it's kind of lamer than childhood.
Yeah.
Childhood stuff is cute. It's kitschy. You know, if you have to look at a photo of yourself in your bedroom, at least have it be a cute one. Don't have it one where you're like, if you're a girl, you're like 20 years old with really overplucked eyebrows, trying to dress like Destiny's Child in the Survivor video. It's like, I don't need to see this
You've got to be
awkward...
reminded of
I
that.
don't need to be reminded of that or like a really bad collection of CDs, you know? It's like, but those are the things that are sitting in my room when I wake up. I
To
see them
remind
there.
you of your new position in life again.
Exactly. and I could get rid of them. I could cover them up. I could change them around, but I'm also, you know, I'm a bit lazy. So I'm like, I'll just leave them there for now.
Well, you're like, you don't know how long you're there for, so you're like, wow,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
maybe they need this.
Maybe they need them. Maybe they want to see that Corn CD. Or that System of a Down record.
Yes, toxicity.
You know, of course. You know, the beauty of getting older is that I think you realize what you like and what you don't like and how you would ideally want to live.
Okay, so you started to kind of notice your limits.
I think I want more space just for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm moving into a place in like 2 weeks that's just mine.
Got it.
Right.
You're graduating to the
I'm
solo
graduating.
living.
I'm graduating solo. My partner will come and stay for like a couple of months, but because he is overseas. But apart from that, he's mine.